A discovery in the archives has shaken the Brown family's entire legacy. This never-before-seen footage shows Billy reliving a past he hoped would stay buried, and you won't believe what the cameras captured. Newly uncovered footage from the archives of Alaskan bush people has brought an unexpected and emotional moment back into the spotlight. The clip, never before seen by fans and filmed years before the patriarch Billy Brown passed away, captures a raw confrontation with a chapter of his past that he rarely discussed publicly. In the days since its release, viewers, longtime fans, and even family members have expressed shock, admiration, and heartbreak as the scene reverberates across social media. The footage, released by the show's production team ahead of a retrospective special set to air later this month, offers an unfiltered window into a side of Billy Brown that the audience seldom witnessed. Known for his rugged independence, deep love of nature, and determination to raise his family in the wild, Billy always projected a powerful image of strength and resilience. But the newly released clip reveals a man grappling with memories he spent decades trying to reconcile. The moment, filmed during the early seasons of the show, was reportedly held back because it was considered too personal at the time. Producers now state that releasing it serves to complete the narrative of Billy's life, one marked not only by the pursuit of freedom, but by the shadows that shaped him long before the cameras ever rolled. The clip begins quietly, without dramatic music or narration, showing Billy sitting alone on a fallen log in the middle of the forest near the family's early Browntown property. His hands rest on his knees, shoulders slightly hunched, the weight of the moment heavy in his posture. What follows is both gripping and unexpectedly vulnerable. Billy begins speaking about a night that changed the course of his life. In the footage, he describes a childhood defined by abrupt loss, trauma, and loneliness, events he rarely spoke about even to his older children. The softness in his voice contrasts sharply with the rugged Alaskan wilderness surrounding him. According to those who worked on the show at the time, this moment happened during a break in filming. Billy had walked away from the crew between scenes, clearly deep in thought. When a producer approached him, concerned about his sudden quiet mood, he asked to sit and talk with cameras on, but only if the footage was kept private until he approved its release. That approval never came before his passing. The video reveals him recounting the tragic plane crash that killed his parents and sister when he was just a teenager, an event he has spoken about only in fragmented detail on the show. But what makes the footage different is not simply the mention of the tragedy, it is the depth of reflection that follows. He speaks about the shock of sudden loss, of waking up one day knowing he would never see them again, of being thrust into adulthood long before he was ready. He shares how that tragedy led him to search for belonging, meaning, and eventually a new life far from the noise and expectations of modern society. He admits that for years he carried a sense of guilt, irrational yet consuming, that he survived and they did not. The emotional rawness is palpable. At one point, he wipes his eyes, pauses, and takes several long breaths before continuing. The clip also delves into his struggles in the years that followed. He recounts the loneliness of his early adulthood, bouncing between temporary jobs and living spaces, unable to fully attach to any place or person. He describes feeling haunted by the past, even as he tried to build a future. Then the footage transitions into how he found his path forward. He speaks of meeting Amy, the woman who would become his wife and partner through decades of wilderness living. He recounts how she became the anchor he didn't know he needed. Her warmth, he says, reminded him that life could still hold beauty, even after unimaginable loss. The moment he describes meeting his first child is especially poignant. Billy says that holding his newborn son for the first time gave him a sense of purpose he hadn't felt since before his family's tragedy. That moment, he explains, solidified his conviction to raise his children in a world that felt honest and real to him, a world far removed from the chaos of modern society. These remarks in the footage shed new light on many decisions he made later in life. They explain, in emotional detail, why he was so determined to give his children a simple and self-sufficient upbringing. He wanted them to live in a world where they could appreciate the value of each moment, free from the distractions he believed had consumed much of modern society. As the clip continues, Billy reflects on the internal conflict between protecting his family and confronting his demons. He acknowledges that his past shaped him in ways he did not always fully understand. He admits that although he wanted his children to know strength, he struggled with showing them vulnerability. Fans watching the clip have reacted with overwhelming emotional responses. On social media, posts describing tears, shock, and newfound appreciation for Billy's journey have flooded comment sections. Many say the footage reshapes their understanding of the man they saw on screen for nearly a decade. The Brown family has always had a complex relationship with the public, often caught between sharing their unique lifestyle with the world and protecting their private struggles. This unearthed moment brings the audience closer than ever to the heart of their late patriarch. Family members have reportedly had mixed reactions. Some were unaware the footage even existed. Others, according to insiders, were overcome with emotion seeing their father share something so deeply personal. Several of Billy's adult children have privately expressed gratitude that fans are finally seeing a side of him that was usually only visible within the family. It also adds new context to the Brown family's journey after Billy's passing. Watching the footage now, knowing the challenges the family has faced over the last few years, including legal issues, changes in filming, financial struggles, and internal tensions, makes the moment feel even more resonant. The footage also highlights the central theme that has always run through the Brown family's story: resilience. Billy's strength, shaped by early trauma and decades of wilderness living, helped build a unique family culture centered on unity, survival, and perseverance.
This clip reinforces that the roots of that resilience run far deeper than viewers knew. Producers say that the decision to release the footage now is due to an upcoming multi-episode tribute celebrating Billy's legacy. As part of that special, fans will see never-before-aired scenes, personal reflections from the family, and archival footage documenting the evolution of Browntown from its earliest days. In internal interviews, several crew members who were with the family during the early years of filming described the moment as one of the most unforgettable experiences of their careers. They say the forest had gone silent as Billy spoke, as if the wilderness itself were listening. When he finished, no one on the crew spoke for several minutes. Those closest to the show describe Billy as a man who carried old wounds quietly. He rarely opened up in such depth, even when cameras were rolling. They say this moment felt like a turning point, a glimpse into the past that shaped his fierce devotion to family and independence. The newly released footage also sparks conversation about the emotional challenges of filming reality television in remote environments. The Brown family's life, while presented as rugged and adventurous, always contained undertones of hardship, loss, and endurance. For years, fans saw the family battle rough weather, illness, financial setbacks, and internal disagreements. But moments like this remind viewers that the emotional struggles behind the scenes were often just as intense. Experts specializing in media and reality television note that the release of emotionally intimate footage often changes the way a show is perceived. In this case, the footage humanizes Billy in a way that deepens audience connection and expands the show's legacy beyond entertainment. It becomes a portrait of a man shaped by tragedy, yet determined to create beauty and meaning from the pieces left behind. The footage has also sparked renewed discussion about the Brown family's presence on reality television. For some viewers, the clip reinforces the emotional authenticity that made the family so compelling to watch. Others believe the release highlights how much of the family's emotional depth remained unseen during the show's original broadcast. Narrative experts say moments like this are rare in the world of unscripted TV because they reveal unguarded humanity. In most cases, such footage remains buried because it does not fit the episodic structure of typical programming. Its emergence now feels like a gift to fans, a chance to better understand the man whose vision started it all. In the final minutes of the footage, Billy takes a long pause before saying something that has since become one of the most talked about lines. He reflects on the idea of healing and admits that some wounds never fully close. But he also says that the love he found in the wilderness, through family, faith, and the natural world, gave him strength to keep going. Viewers have shared this moment widely online, creating a ripple of tributes celebrating Billy's resilience and legacy. Some say the clip felt like a final message from him, one that adds meaning to the years of episodes the family shared. As anticipation grows for the full tribute special, the clip continues to circulate, sparking conversations about grief, endurance, and the complexity of survival, both emotional and physical. The Brown family story has always been rooted in the idea of thriving against the odds, and this newly uncovered moment reinforces that theme in powerful and unexpected ways. The release of the footage marks a poignant chapter in the ongoing legacy of Alaskan bush people. For years, Billy Brown was known as the charismatic leader of a family living far beyond the boundaries of modern civilization. Now, fans see him as more than the rugged patriarch. They see the man who carried loss, sought purpose, and built a life defined by love and courageous vulnerability. In the end, the never-before-seen footage is more than a revelation. It is a reminder that behind every great story lies an untold chapter, one that shapes the narrative in ways we may never fully understand until the moment it finally comes to light. The release of never-before-seen footage showing Billy Brown facing the most painful chapter of his life has continued to dominate the conversation among Alaskan bush people fans. What began as a single archival clip has now evolved into a full-scale response from viewers, on-set insiders, and even individuals close to the Brown family. As the footage spreads across digital platforms, more layers of the story are coming to light, creating a renewed dialogue about Billy's legacy and the emotional depth behind his life in the wilderness. The clip, recorded privately during the early years of filming, has become a catalyst for new discussions about the man behind the myth. Billy Brown, often portrayed as the unwavering patriarch guiding his family through the dangers of life in remote Alaska, now appears more human than ever. The raw vulnerability seen in the footage has reignited long-held questions about how much of the family's emotional journey was documented but never shared with the public. Producers of the show originally withheld the clip because they felt it crossed a boundary into deeply personal territory. Now, with time and emotional distance, they believe releasing it honors Billy's story more fully. Since the clip aired, various members of the production team have spoken anonymously about how strongly it affected them, even years later. One former crew member described the moment as a turning point in understanding Billy's motivations. According to him, many on set were aware that Billy carried emotional scars, but didn't fully grasp their depth until that day. He recalls a stillness in the air as Billy recounted the trauma that shaped his life, a quiet so profound it seemed to absorb every word. Those who spent the most time around Billy say that the past always hovered over him, even during moments of joy and triumph. Now viewers are seeing the same truth that insiders observed. Billy's resilience was not born from simplicity or strength alone, but from loss, heartbreak, and a profound desire to rebuild meaning. The renewed attention has also sparked a flood of fan tributes, including artwork, tribute videos, and personal stories from viewers who say Billy's message helped them confront pain in their own lives. Many express that watching the footage made them reflect on how grief can become a lifelong companion, not something to overcome, but something to walk alongside. Meanwhile, the Brown family has stayed relatively silent since the footage began making rounds online. Several extended family members, however, have reportedly seen the clip and expressed appreciation that Billy's true depth is finally being acknowledged. For them, the moment serves as both a painful reminder and a comforting tribute, capturing a side of him that they knew intimately but that the world rarely saw. There are also indications that the footage may have influenced the direction of the upcoming Alaskan Bush People tribute special. Sources suggest that producers are revisiting archives to uncover additional moments that reflect Billy's emotional and philosophical outlook. If accurate, this means fans could soon see even more unseen clips, moments that provide insight into the values and experiences that shape the Brown family's lifestyle.
As speculation grows, fans have begun revisiting older episodes with new understanding. Scenes that once seemed simple or playful now feel layered with emotional history. Viewers have pointed out subtle expressions, pauses in Billy's speech, and brief philosophical reflections that now connect more deeply with the newly revealed clip. What many fans find most powerful is how Billy framed his relationship with grief, not as something that weakened him, but as something that pushed him toward family, adventure, and the wilderness he adored. His ability to build a new life, despite the weight of the past, resonates strongly with audiences who admired his determination. One segment of the audience has even begun advocating for a dedicated documentary exploring Billy's early life, including his years before meeting Amy and the emotional journey that led to the creation of Browntown. Fans argue that understanding the roots of Billy's philosophy is essential to understanding the dynamic of the family as a whole. In response to the wave of renewed interest, Discovery Networks have hinted on social media that more archival content may be released soon. Fans believe that this signals a larger effort to preserve and celebrate Billy's legacy in a more personal and profound way. Psychologists and grief specialists who have examined the clip say it provides a rare example of a public figure discussing trauma with authenticity. They note that Billy's reflections, especially his acknowledgement that some wounds never fully heal, are particularly meaningful in an era when emotional vulnerability is often discouraged, especially among men. Many viewers say the footage changed their perception of the Brown family. Instead of seeing them merely as wilderness pioneers, fans are now recognizing the emotional complexities that shaped their choices. This shift in perspective has led to a renewed appreciation for the family's journey, especially in light of Billy's absence. The ripple effect of the footage continues to grow, with discussion threads across online fan communities dedicated entirely to dissecting the clip's emotional impact. These communities have become safe spaces for viewers to share their own stories of loss, survival, and rebuilding, mirroring the themes Billy expressed in his quiet reflection. Some fans have noted that this is the first time they truly felt connected to Billy on a personal level, rather than seeing him as a character in a beloved television series. Others say the footage helped them understand why Billy fought so hard to give his children a different kind of life, one rooted in simplicity, freedom, and togetherness. The emotional outpouring has also reignited interest in the Brown family's current activities. Viewers are curious about how the children have processed their own grief over the years and whether the release of such emotional content may inspire them to share more openly with fans. Industry professionals say that moments like this rarely happen in reality television. It is unusual for previously unreleased footage to emerge with such emotional weight, especially footage that reframes the narrative years after the subject's passing. This unique moment, they say, has created one of the most meaningful conversations the fandom has experienced in recent years. In many ways, the never-before-seen footage serves as a bridge, connecting the past with the present and the man viewers saw on screen with the man his family knew behind the scenes. It adds dimension to Billy's public image, transforming him from a wilderness adventurer into a symbol of endurance and healing. The continued ripple effect suggests that the clip will remain a defining moment in the show's legacy. For many fans, it is not merely a piece of entertainment, but a powerful message about humanity, resilience, and the ability to rebuild a meaningful life after tragedy. As anticipation grows for the upcoming tribute special, fans hope producers will continue to honor Billy's life with honesty and emotional depth. Whether through additional unseen footage or new interviews with the family, viewers are eager to understand more about the man who inspired millions through his unique path. The release of the footage has ultimately done more than reignite interest in Alaskan bush people. It has provided a rare and intimate look into the heart of a man whose legacy now feels richer and more profound than ever before. And for countless fans around the world, this moment of vulnerability may be the most meaningful gift Billy Brown left behind.